Hi friends, welcome back to my studio. Today I'm doing a May wrap up, June beginning to my project Stashdown updates. So if you aren't familiar, this is something that Cindy of Llama Letters, Cindy Guentert-Baldo, I'll link a link to her videos below. She brought it over from the makeup community where it's called Project Pan, but it's the idea of like intentionally trying to use your things up to get them out of your collection. And so I've done 2 full months of this now, and I'm going to update you on how May went and what I'm planning on doing for June. But I also want to talk a little bit here at the beginning about some attitude things. So I haven't really finished much of anything in either April or May. And part of that, a big part of that, are the things that I have chosen. So some of them are things that like cannot be finished in the amount of time I've allotted for them. And I knew that and just decided that I was going to intentionally use them and try not to worry about and try to counteract the attitude of like being worried about finishing them, even though I wasn't going to finish them in that month. And I feel fine about that, but I am feeling a little bit of a lack of like emotional satisfaction from being like, yes, I set out to finish this thing in May and I did. So in June, I've picked a couple that are a little more finishable, achievable, but then some of them I still want to try to use up, to use intentionally, even if I'm not going to use them up. So I'm a little bit of a self wrestle here on what is my attitude, what are my goals, what am I hoping for. The other possibility is that maybe 1 month is not a long enough time to deal with the things that I'm trying to deal with. So I'm thinking about that. I'm not making any major changes right now, but it's on my mind. If you are also participating, I'd be curious to hear if you feel similarly or not, or if you've managed to pick things and then to finish them. All right, let's talk about some of this stuff. All right, so our first category is makeup, and for April and for May, my Stashdown was to use this eye concentrate is the term they're using, but that was not doable in a month, so I did use it regularly as part of my habits, motivated by the fact that it was part of my Stashdown. Often at the end of the day, I'm tired and looking to cut corners. So I did make progress on this, and I hope to, but I'm not going to have it be part of the Stashdown for June. Instead, in June, these were parts of the same. This was all a thing together, but this is the overnight moisture mask. It's overexposed. Here we go. This one is almost done, and this is the one I use in the day. Moisture Surge Intense, and again, very close. So I think I'm going to have no problem finishing these off in June, and that I think will give me that kind of emotional boost of having finished things. So we'll keep that for makeup. I've gone back to having to wear a mask at work, so I haven't been wearing a lot of actual makeup, and I'm not going to do something that feels like a thing I don't want to do just because of the Stashdown. So that is makeup. On to art supplies. So for art and planner supplies, I had picked for May to use my Skinny Washi, and I actually did pretty well on this. You haven't seen it a lot in my plan with me's, but I've been trying to incorporate it in my dailies and in my work planner, which I don't have here with me. So I feel like I've been doing okay in that, in the sense that I'm starting to build the habit. I know there are some here that I'm never going to use, and I think it's time to put those in the donation pile. In fact, here, while I'm on screen, I'm going to immediately take them out so that I can't just put this whole drawer away and not get around to it. I think I might keep the white glittery one, but I think that might be the only glittery one I'll keep. Here's a really thin glittery one. They're just, oh, this is falling apart. All right, well, I think we can call that trash. So that's something. These are going to get donated to the local craft supply thrift store where apparently washi does very well. So those are gone, but I'm going to keep, well, and I don't love these. These are going to go too. They're, well, I'm wavering. Let's keep those. Here, let's do this. We'll keep these for now, but they will be part of this month's Stashdown. If I don't use them, because this time I never even tried. I was trying to do skinny. If I don't use them, they're goners next month. So yeah, I'm going to try and keep building this habit in June. I don't really want to change it. I really want to solidify this habit, or I want to get them gone. And 30 days was like just not enough to really solidify this habit. The other one was these AliExpress stickers. I did okay-ish, kind of. Again, I'm keeping these for June. I think that I need longer to build the habit. I'm wondering if maybe 1 month like just isn't long enough for me on Project Stashdown. Like, I love it and I love reevaluating it. But I don't feel like I make the progress that I want to in 1 month's time. So I'm going to keep these for another month. They've been going mostly in my work planner. In the little corner, kind of like how I'm doing this here, but with that stuff in a different planner. The last thing I had were my fountain pen inks, and I had just said to like consistently be using them, and I have been consistently using them, and I'm really enjoying them. But I was using a lot of them, and I have not finished a single one. So I feel good about how I did in May, but in June, one of these I'm going to like make the decision to kill. And it's probably either going to be this Diamine Autumn Oak or this Sailor Yurameku Seki. Or there's one more. Yes, the Sailor Manyo Nadeshiko. Those are both ones I've made good dents in, that I have currently inked in a pen, and that I think with some dedicated effort I could finish. I'm flexible about which one. If it's a different one, that's fine. But one of these, I'm finishing one of these in the month of June. And in order to do that, I will probably need to be doing my lettering with my big fat pen, because it lays down a lot of ink. And so if I want to finish one, that's like the way to do it. So I've got some lettering practice I'd like to do. I'd like to practice my capitals a little more. So whichever one I pick to put in one of those lettering fountain pens, if you haven't seen my fountain pen collection, there's a link up here. And I talk about why I picked each of them and what I like about them. So I think I will pick one. I will do a lot of practicing. I will improve my capital letters, and I will finish one of these inks. Oh, I forgot to include this notebook in this section. So this is the Life, let's see, this is the KLEID and Life Noble collab notebook. I have it in the B6 size. It's one of the few fountain pen friendly notebooks I found in B6. But B6 is the size I use for my planners and for other things, and I just like this size. I got this at Yoseka Stationery. I'll post a link below. But you'll remember that I had a notebook fail earlier in this Stashdown project, and I didn't use it. But I have higher hopes for this one. So it's fountain pen friendly, and it's a good way for me to practice my lettering, and I'm just doing lyrics from songs I like. and lettering them here and playing with my inks and not worrying too much about it. So I've used about 5 pages. I try and do one of these a week, but I haven't had it that long, so I guess my average is higher than that. But I would like to get some good work in here, and so I think, there's no way I'm going to finish it. I think it's 200 pages. I'm only using one side of each page, but still, it's going to take me a long time. But I'd like to really develop this habit and get some good work in, and it'll be a great way of using my inks. All right, for fabric, I had this bamboo jersey. It's gorgeous, these leafy florals. My goal was to use it up, and I did a terrible job on that. I did make something with it. The pattern I used ended up, though, and I'll post a picture of the finished garment in here now, but it actually doesn't use very much of this fabric. It used a decent amount of contrasting fabric, and I'm really pleased with the decisions that I made, but I didn't really feel like I used very much of this. So this is going back into my stash. Hopefully, I think I'd like to make a plain t-shirt with it too, and hopefully I will get the chance to do that and actually do that, and then I will get rid of the rest of this fabric, sell it in a buy-sell trade group, because it's gorgeous, but I don't need this much of it, and I would like the room. So middling on June for that. For May. For June, I have this stretch denim that I just bought, and I have a pattern that I'm thinking is going to be a good just jean pattern in the shape that I want, and this is enough for 2 pairs, and in June I want to get them both sewn up. I don't actually want to ever have to store this fabric. I got it pretty recently. It's just sitting on my sewing machine table. I don't want to find a place for it. I just want it to become garments immediately. It's a little warm these days for jeans, but I have to wear long pants to work. So I'm hoping to just immediately turn this over and call it a day. Finally on my list was freezer foods, and for May I had a bag of rhubarb that I wanted to use up and to cook into something, and I never did. I was too involved in my collection launch and didn't bake a single thing, and I'm giving myself grace on that, and I'm also not putting anything new in the freezer section for this month. I feel pretty good about how things are in there. Like to eat some more of the ice cream that's in there. I've got 2 pints that are nearly done. So maybe we'll say that, but that one's pretty informal. Let's talk favorites for a moment. This is just going to be my whole month wrap up. In terms of things that I was using in May and really loved, one of them is this Diplomat Magnum medium nib fountain pen in the color Prismatic Purple. This is the one that I used in this pink one, and I just find it a delight to write with. It's fatter than my normal writing nib, so I use it for headings and stuff, but I find it extremely pleasant to write with and really shows off ink really nicely. So that is my fountain pen favorite for May. In terms of planner supplies, the Zig Clean Colored Dot in the new Mild Smoky I have been using the heck out of. I had never really thought about the fact that the Zig Clean Colored Dot markers that I previously had, I actually have the shuttle art ones. I have a link review, but they're very primary colored. That's not really true. Plenty of them are secondary colors, etc. But they're a lot more vibrant than I'd ever really thought about until I got something that had the saturation turned down a little, so a little more gray. so a little more gray, and it turns out that a lot of my spreads are more in this color family than the others. So I've been using the heck out of these and really enjoying them. So I hope they come out with more color families because I would be in favor. So that's my monthly wrap up for May and then going into June. I think I need to give a little more thought into what I think is a successful, what I consider success for this project, because I find it an extremely helpful mindset to be in, and I'm really enjoying myself, but I'm not like seeing a lot of results. And I think I just need to decide, and I'm okay with either of these outcomes, but I think I need to decide if I want to pick things that are closer to being done like this, or if I decide that like finishing things isn't the most important part of this project. It's using things and working on my attitude about like being willing to use things and to potentially use them up, even if I'm not using them up, working on my attitude that it's okay and it's a good and celebrated thing to finish something, rather than like as I get closer to the end, using it less and less because I'm afraid to actually hit that milestone. So, you know, a little human psychology to kind of investigate there, but I'm really glad I'm doing this, and I think I have been adding some great things to my arsenal and really enjoying myself. So let me know if there's anything that you are planning to try to use intentionally in June. I would love to hear it. And if not, if you are a person who like also like slowly uses things the closer you get to the end because you're afraid of that like end point, because I'm sure I'm not the only one. All right, talk to you later. Bye, friends.